Hello and welcome to India Business Hour. I'm Archana Solanki. Here are the headlines we're tracking this evening.
So I was not happy that India was buying oil, and he assured me today that they will not be buying oil from Russia. That's a big stop.
US President Donald Trump claims Prime Minister Modi has assured him that India will stop buying oil from Russia soon. India's External Affairs Ministry says no telephone call took place between both leaders yesterday. Also adds India's top priority is to protect the interest of consumers. Infosys meets estimates in the second quarter, tightens the FY26 guidance band on expected lines. Wipro also reports second quarter earnings in line with expectations. All big five Indian IT services companies exceed muted street expectations in the second quarter. Festive cheer on Dalal Street. Sensex and Nifty rise to the highest level in nearly 4 months after a strong rally. Nifty banked near record high. All sectoral indices end in the green. Gold and silver continue their record-breaking run as investors look for safe haven buying. Both precious metals have gained over 50% so far in 2025. Nestle India reports strong revenue growth in Q2 even as margins contract. New global CEO announces 16,000 job cuts worldwide as he targets volume-led growth. The Swiss multinational suffered unprecedented managerial turmoil last month, with the CEO getting sacked for an undisclosed relationship and the chairman stepping down earlier than planned. Quick commerce fuels Zomato parent Eternal in the second quarter. Revenue triples on a yearly basis. Food delivery net order value up 14%. Zepto raises $450 million from existing investors and a new investor in California's pension fund at a valuation of $7 billion. The company's valuation has doubled in the last 12 months. Aditya Birla Group partners with iconic French brand Galeries Lafayette to tap into India's booming luxury market. Kumar Mangalam Birla says the group is in the next phase of strategic acceleration and the portfolio is tilting towards consumer-centric ventures. And less than 3 weeks to go for the Bihar elections. The opposition alliance is yet to firm up a seat-sharing deal. Supreme Court tells the Election Commission to explain the deletion of 65 lakh names from the voter rolls, which will be published tomorrow. All right, let's start with the day's market action. Sensex and Nifty ended near a 4-month high after a strong session today. Nifty crossed the 25,600 mark in intraday trade. Banks witnessed big buying, with Nifty Bank flirting with its record high. Mid-caps also closed in the green but relatively underperformed the blue chips. All the sectoral indices closed with gains, with realty and FMCG rising up 2% each. Here are some top market experts with their big bets this festive season.
If you tell me one sector, it will be financial sector, where I think the overall basis stocks have not performed to their fullest potential. And we are already seeing kind of recovery take place. And there is way to, one is you can play in an asset-light mode, which are capital market related plays. Okay. And the second, you can even play banks.
Capital market and banks, and this can sort of squares with what
I'll give you a most unpopular one.
Yes.
Finance Minister indicated that after all her tax work is done,
right,
she wants to turn her attention to public sector.
Okay.
They've already said, for example, they may do consolidation of some of the PSU banks. Yes. This bull market started originally with PSUs in defense and railways and all. This bull market by no means is over.
Right.
I think the PSUs took a backseat.
Right.
If they privatize, for example, or sell big stakes, why are they holding on to NALCO or SAIL and the others? So PSUs generally are beaten down, neglected, other than the defense and all, which are of course doing fantastically well. Maybe also an interesting place to look for an asymmetrical bet.
Just PSU banks.
So it could be banks, it could be some of these metal names, which is again playing into this hard assets theme.
India has done very badly this year relative to peers, emerging market benchmarks. So over 5 years, India has still done better than EM and China and all. Maybe only US has done better. But this year, India has had its worst relative performance in 30 years, which is some 25, 27% underperformance in 10 months. Right. That beyond a point does not last. Second is, what are the reasons why FIs are selling? I've been feeling that the world is interested currently, and not feeling that, you can see with data, that the world is putting a little bit of its global money into non-US markets.
From equities to the commodities market, gold extended its rally to a fresh record high. This as US-China trade tensions and the US government shutdown forced investors towards the safe haven metal. Now, prospects of interest rate cuts further boosted demand, also supported prices. Now, prices of silver also saw positive momentum spurred by both consumer and industrial demand. P.N. Gadgil Jewelers MD told CNBC TV18 that silver is facing a unique problem in India.
The karigars don't have silver to make articles now. So the situation is like whatever is there in the store is what you can sell. And the demand just doesn't seem to end. Okay. Every day the prices are going up. The premiums are going up in the market. But the demand is still going further up. So I think it's a unique situation where prices go up, demand should come down, but your prices go up and demand goes up further.
Let's also get a sense on how the gold jewelry sales are doing in Zaveri Bazaar during this Zaveri Bazaar festival here. Joining us to talk about that is Anil Jain, our Pukhraj Jewelers, and Mr. Kamlesh Jain is SK Gold. Thank you, gentlemen, so much for joining in. Anil, what is your sense, first of all, with the gold prices all-time high, 60% of gains in this year? Are you looking at a bit of a dent in buying, or do you think people are still attracted towards gold?
People have got now more frenzy. And it's like catching up. They all want to cash in on the daily basis rise and make quick money. The investment buying is like exorbitant, but the emotional buying is a little down.
I think so. This is the highest gold sale ever I have seen in my career from last 32 years. People are buying because this is the safest metal.
As compared to last year, Mr. Jain, what is your anticipation? Are we looking at a bit of a decline in volumes? And if yes, then how much?
I think so. From last year, my business has grown approx 50% more.
So there's no decline for you?
No, it's not decline.
But are people buying 22 carats, 18 carats? What is it that people are investing in?
People are more buying 22 carats and the investors are buying 24 carats. But major people are buying jewelry.
Anil, is it about lightweight jewelry or is it still bridals that's working for you?
The more the prices, the quantum will go down. So lightweight and light caratage also will come in the near future. It will be a new norm now. 22 carat will wane off and 18 will be then setting in, maybe 9, maybe 12. Anything 12 carat also might catch up.
Thank you so much for joining in and giving us a sense on what really is happening here.
All right, let's put the spotlight on the big story that we are tracking. A day after US President Donald Trump claimed Prime Minister Modi assured him about not buying Russian oil, MEA spokesperson Randhir Jaiswal said that no phone call took place between the two leaders yesterday. Now, speaking to reporters at the Oval Office yesterday, Trump said he had received assurances from the Prime Minister that India would halt Russian oil purchases within a short period of time. The External Affairs Ministry had earlier said that India's import policies are guided entirely to safeguard the interests of the consumer. Remember, oil and gas are Russia's largest exports, with China, India and Turkey being its biggest customers.
In light of China's export curbs on rare earths, do you view India as a reliable partner going forward? And are you planning to meet Prime Minister Modi in Malaysia? Are you open to talks in terms of...
Yeah, sure. He's a friend of mine. We have a great relationship. He just said that 2 days ago, as you know. We have a great relationship. No, we were not happy with him buying oil from Russia, because that lets Russia continue on with this ridiculous war where they've lost 1.5 million people, by the way. Russia's lost 1.5 million people, soldiers mostly. This is a war that should have never started, but it's a war that Russia should have won in the first week, and they're going into the 4th year. And I want to see it stop. So I was not happy that India was buying oil. And he assured me today that they will not be buying oil from Russia. That's a big stop. And he's assured me there will be no oil purchased from Russia. I don't know, maybe that's a breaking story. Can I say that? Would you say? There will be no oil. He's not buying his oil from Russia. It started. You know, you can't do it immediately. It's a little bit of a process. But the process is going to be over with soon.
अमेरिका से जो टिप्पणी आया ऊर्जा को लेके, उस पर हम लोगों ने अपनी एक प्रेस विज्ञप्ति, एक स्टेटमेंट जारी किया है. तो मैं आपसे कहूँगा कि जो हम लोगों ने स्टेटमेंट आज सवेरे आप लोगों के सामने रखा है, उस पर आप नज़र डालिए. जहाँ तक टेलीफोन की बात है, तो उसमें मैं ये कह सकता हूँ कि मेरी जानकारी के हिसाब से प्रधानमंत्री और राष्ट्रपति ट्रंप के बीच में कोई बातचीत नहीं हुई कल.
The External Affairs Ministry also responded to UK sanctions on Nayara Energy over Russian oil trade. MEA spokesperson Randhir Jaiswal said that there should not be any double standards when it comes to energy trade and that India does not subscribe to any unilateral sanctions. Now, this comes after UK imposed 90 new sanctions, which include freezing of assets and transport restrictions.
We have noticed the latest sanctions announced by the UK. As I have said this earlier as well, and possibly most of you are aware of it as well, that we do not subscribe to any unilateral sanctions. Government of India considers the provision of energy security a responsibility of paramount importance to meet the basic needs of its citizens. Indian companies source energy supplies from around the world while taking overall market conditions into account. We would stress that there should be no double standards, especially when it comes to energy trade.
All right, let's talk about earnings now. Infosys reported a stable set of numbers in the second quarter, meeting street estimates on most parameters. Net profit rose over 6%, while dollar revenue jumped nearly 3% on a sequential basis. The company said that it hiked its revenue guidance for FY26 to 2 to 3%. While margin guidance remained unchanged at 20 to 22%. Infosys CEO and MD Salil Parekh has said that the company has delivered 2 consecutive quarters of strong growth. Speaking on the H-1B issue, Parekh said that the company does not expect any disruption.
Our US workforce, the number of people that require Infosys sponsorship for immigration is a minority. So the majority of the people don't require it from our perspective. Second, we've built a large number of centers and hubs which are focused on digital, on innovation, on technology and AI in the US. We have relationships with universities, we have a training facility there. With all of that in mind, we are clear today that we will work with our clients without any disruption to their services and into the future. For this quarter, our net addition is already at 8,000. We had given a guidance in terms of the fresh hiring for the year, and we had said 15 to 20,000 what we expect. We have hired in the first half 12,000 plus freshers already, so we are well on our track to hire close to 20,000 this year.
All right, let's talk about Wipro that largely met estimates in the second quarter. Revenues grew sequentially and margins expanded by 50 basis points. The company is expecting growth to be in the range of minus 0.5% to 1.5%. Now, all the top IT companies have reported their second quarter earnings, and all 5 of them have managed to beat muted estimates. Reema Tendulkar is here with the IT report card.
Thanks so much for that. So let's stack up the numbers. The Q2 companies have delivered on muted expectations. All the IT companies have delivered numbers better than street expectations. Right on top, you've got HCL Tech with a 2.4% revenue growth, followed by Infosys, 2.2% ahead of street expectations. Tech Mahindra numbers also looking good at 1.6%. EBIT margin performance has also been fairly strong. Most IT companies doing better than expected. And here, the key driver is one, the rupee depreciation, about 2.5% versus the dollar. And secondly, companies had postponed their wage hikes to the subsequent quarter. So for instance, TCS is giving a wage hike only 1st September versus 1st April. So, wage hike, which typically hurts in the first half of the year, was absent. And the reason the company had done that was on account of the macro uncertainty. And then you got the rupee depreciation tailwind. So margins have been fairly robust. And for most companies, they've expanded on a quarter-on-quarter basis. In terms of the overall commentary, well, IT companies maintain that the demand environment has not changed. It's not improved, but it hasn't deteriorated, and deal wins across the board have been fairly robust for the IT companies. So Infosys, after the strong performance in Q1, they have the confidence to raise the lower end of the guidance. So now they're saying revenue growth 2 to 3%. Earlier it was 1 to 3%, and the hiring number was also strong, 8,200 added to their headcount on a quarter-on-quarter basis, For Wipro, the Q3 revenue growth seen at the midpoint of their guidance suggests a sequential improvement in the growth rate. TCS also said that the international revenue growth, what is international? X of the BSNL deal, will be better in FY26 versus FY24. HCL Tech also maintained the full year guidance, but for the services business, the bread and butter business, they did raise the lower end. So 3 to 5 became 4 to 5%. And for Tech Mahindra too, it's a work in progress and they continue to hold on to their FY27 turnaround plans.
Jio Financial has reported a 1% rise in profits and a 42% rise in revenue for the second quarter. Total income crossed 1,000 crore rupees, clocking a growth of 44%. Net income from business operations saw a 5-fold growth and the company believes it has hit an inflection point. The shares of net income from operations now stands at 52%. This is substantially higher than the 14% contribution made last year. FMCG major Nestle India has reported a strong set of numbers in the second quarter, beating street estimates across most parameters. The company's revenue rose over 10%, but net profits slumped nearly 24% on an annual basis. Margins contracted by over 200 basis points, but in line with estimates. And speaking of Nestle, in an effort for a turnaround, the FMCG company's new global CEO announced 16,000 job cuts worldwide as it targets volume-led growth. The company plans to fire 12,000 white-collar employees and 4,000 employees in the manufacturing and supply chain division. The Swiss multinational suffered unprecedented managerial turmoil last month, with the CEO getting sacked for an undisclosed relationship and the chairman stepping down earlier than planned. Quick commerce fueled Zomato parent eternal in the second quarter. Its revenue tripled on a yearly basis. Net order value of the food delivery business was up 14%, while the quick commerce net order value saw a 137% increase on a yearly basis. However, the stock ended lower as Eternal missed estimates on the profit and the EBITDA front. Quick commerce startup Zepto has raised $450 million from existing investors and a new investor in California's pension fund at a valuation of $7 billion. The company's valuation has doubled in the last 12 months. This is the company's fourth fundraise in just over a year. Speaking to CNBC TV18, company CEO Aditya Birla said that Zepto will use these funds to expand operations.
The reason why we were able to get this financing done is because we've been able to grow from roughly around 500,000 orders per day in mid-2024 when we closed our last fundraise to about today 1.6 to 1.7 million orders per day. And even as we've grown the business close to 250% in the past 5 quarters, what we've been able to do, which I think is more important, is we've been able to consistently keep turning stores profitable. The vast majority of this 450 million is primary. And we're now in a position where we've got close to $1 billion of net cash in banks.
Right, coming up on India Business Hour, Aditya Birla Group partners with iconic French brand Galeries Lafayette to tap into India's booming luxury market. A special report coming up in just a bit. And you can also catch all CNBC TV18 news and updates on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, X and Jio Hotstar. Do subscribe to CNBC TV18's Access for exclusive stories and special shows like The Editor's Playbook and many others. You're watching India Business Hour. In international news, the Israel's defense minister has said that the military to prepare for a comprehensive plan to defeat Hamas in the Gaza ceasefire. if the ceasefire collapses. Hamas has returned the remains of 2 more Israeli captives but admitted that it will need specialized equipment and assistance to locate bodies still buried beneath the rubble. Meanwhile, a United Nations agency has accused Israeli forces of continuing to kill civilians in some areas of Gaza. Russia has targeted Ukraine's energy network yet again with drones and missile strikes. The attacks on gas facilities in eastern Ukraine caused power outages in 8 regions. Russia's defense ministry said that the strikes were in response to Kyiv's attacks on Russian infrastructure. This as Ukrainian President Zelensky flew to Washington to meet President Trump and discuss the possibility of US providing long-range cruise missiles. Pharmaceutical giant Johnson & Johnson is facing a major lawsuit in the UK for allegedly selling baby powder contaminated with asbestos. The claim involves over 3,000 people and is based on internal memos and scientific reports. The lawsuit accused the company of knowing that its powder contained fibrous minerals classified as asbestos since the 1960s. The Supreme Court has said it has no doubt the Election Commission of India will fulfill their responsibility and publish the list of names added or deleted in the final voter list in Bihar. The EC assured the list will be out tomorrow. The Apex Court was hearing petitions challenging the special intensive revision of electoral rolls in Bihar. It directed the ECI to file written notes on whether it has the power to conduct SIR and adjourned the matter till November 4th. Bihar is set to go to polls on the 6th and 11th of November in 2 phases. The father of Sumit Sabharwal, the pilot who died in the Air India crash, has moved the Supreme Court seeking an independent probe into the crash. His plea has flagged how the government's investigation is focusing on the pilot's error and is failing to look into other plausible reasons. All ministers in the Gujarat government except Chief Minister Bhupendra Patel resigned ahead of a potential cabinet reshuffle. BJP President JP Nadda is scheduled to meet all the Gujarat MLAs at Chief Minister Bhupendra Patel's residence tonight. The state goes to polls in 2027. The Aditya Birla Group's next phase of growth is increasingly being defined by the Indian consumer. After making bold bets in paints and jewelry retail last year, the telecom to financial services and retail conglomerate is now stepping up its luxury play. CNBC TV 18's Shilpa Ranipeta says bringing France's luxury department store, Galeries Lafayette, to India is the next step in this game.
It's a slice of Paris right here in Mumbai's Fort area. Behind these century-old walls of the Turner Morrison building, once the heart of colonial commerce, a new chapter of luxury is about to unfold. In just a few weeks, Galeries Lafayette, the iconic French department store, will open its doors to India for the very first time. Now, across 90,000 square feet, across 5 stunning floors, 270 luxury brands, 70% of who are debuting in India for the first time. It's Eau de Vivre of Paris reimagined for Mumbai. For the Aditya Birla Group, this is part of a deliberate shift towards the consumer sector. After launching a paints business with Birla Opus and foraying into jewelry retail with Indria, it is now aggressively growing its fashion and retail business with a presence spanning the consumer pyramid from mass to premium to luxury.
Our group, as you know, is currently in the midst of its next phase of strategic acceleration. Our core businesses are poised for transformational growth, even as the new ventures are growing with momentum. At the heart of this evolution has been a sharp focus on the Indian customer. Over the past 3 to 4 years, we have deepened our commitment to the consumer space, responding to its shifts with deliberate speed.
The launch of Galeries Lafayette is more than just a part of the group's bet on the potential of the Indian luxury market to grow over 4-fold from $20 billion to almost $90 billion by 2030. The group says it also plugs a hole in the business portfolio and a swift expansion is in the works.
Luxury retail in India is far from reaching its full potential. For years, the ecosystem has lacked the right mix of real estate, supply and service excellence. As a result, Indian consumers, as we know, have looked outward for the experiences that they have sought.
Luxury for the past few years has been increasingly booming in the country. So we are really happy and we are really excited of what's going to happen in the next days when we will open to the public. And we are sure that Galeries Lafayette with Birla will find an amazing market. And as you said, the initial plan are 2 stores. We'll see, perhaps there will be more. And we will discuss with Birla of the opportunities of looking at other cities than Mumbai and Delhi.
Housed under Aditya Birla Fashion and Retail, the department store will feature a mix of Parisian, international and Indian luxury brands across fashion, beauty and lifestyle. The company already runs a premium retail concept, The Collective, and has acquired majority stakes in luxury Indian designers like Sabyasachi, Shantanu & Nikhil and House of Masaba. The Galeries Lafayette partnership, the company says, gives it a much wider luxury portfolio. This Mumbai flagship will join the 67 stores worldwide and mark the beginning of the brand's India journey. Now, while Delhi is next on the horizon, 2 to 3 years away from now, all eyes are now on the Mumbai store this November, where a French icon meets India's fashion capital, and the result is set to redefine luxury as we know it. In Mumbai, Shilpa Rani Peta.
And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of India Business Hour. Thank you for watching. News continues right here on CNBC TV 18.